Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. I'm here today with Nyasha from, well, she's actually also known as BUDWISETT. I don't know if that's the name of your company, and so, but
Yeah.
Nyasha, say hi to the world.
Yes, BUDWISETT.
Okay, right. Okay, I thought it might have been a nickname or something. But, okay, it's actually the name of your company, yeah?
That's it, BUDWISETT. That's the name of the page, yeah.
Right. Say hi to the people.
Oh, hi to the people. I'm kidding. Hi, guys. My name is Nyasha. Well, as he just said, also known as BUDWISETT, and I am a cannabis activist. Well, I prefer to more say cannabis advocate, and yeah, I've done a good bit of community building, a good bit of just bringing people together, getting people together, educating people, sharing information when it comes to cannabis in Trinidad and Tobago. So yeah, it is a pleasure to be here, and can't wait to get into the conversation that we have in store today.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's going to be about Caribbean food, but later on in the show, we're going to be talking about what you do, and also, the other day, I went down to the block and told them about this show, and so I've got a few questions from the block for you as well.
Right. I love it. I love it.
So that should be interesting. But can I ask you, by starting off, what is your favorite international dish?
Ooh. Would Alfredo count? I guess, yeah. Alfredo pasta.
That's not Caribbean.
I loved Alfredo so much. You said international dish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I loved Alfredo so much I learned how to make it myself. So that's any day, anytime I can go anywhere. Once they have Alfredo on the menu, I'm sold.
Yeah. And how is your Alfredo? Because you can make it now. How do you rank it?
I would say it's pretty good. I can give a lot of people competition.
Okay. Right. And where's one of your favorite places to go and get some Alfredo?
Oh, well, out here, honestly, any like Italian restaurant is fine. Right. But I didn't want to talk about back home. Because the Alfredo back home is different from the Alfredo out here, because in the Caribbean we love our spices, we love our flavors, you know. So yeah, Alfredo back home is a lot more tastier than Alfredo out here, which is like that with a lot of things. But my favorite place to get Alfredo, I don't have any one specific place, but any Italian restaurant, because that is authentic Alfredo that you're gonna get.
Okay. So how do you find, out of curiosity, Trinidad Chinese compared to, say, Canadian Chinese?
Oh, Trinidad's Chinese, like, as I said, we love flavor. So everything, like the base of everything, you have your onions, you have your side, you have your this, your that. Out here, I like to say it's like they want the actual taste of the chicken. So like I don't know, it seems that way, like, they actually want the taste of the chicken itself and not like all the different types of flavors associated with it. But I would say I prefer the Chinese from back home, like the Chinese food. Yeah, it was a shocker to me when I ordered wontons and it was just wonton skins, literally. Because back home we have shrimp wontons, chicken wontons, any type of wontons that you want. But here you have to specify, otherwise you get empty wonton shells. It's crazy. It's really different. It's different. Like noodles, chicken, chow mein is different. It's different. So a lot of things I just would not buy out here because I know it's gonna taste different. Yeah.
Okay. So what is your favorite Caribbean dish?
Definitely Sunday lunch. Definitely Sunday lunch. Sunday lunch, well, you probably know, but Sunday lunch, for those who don't know, we call it Sunday lunch because it's something that we in Trinidad usually make on a Sunday. It's a full plate hearty meal. It consists of macaroni pie. You have the fried rice, or sometimes you can do just plain rice. You have any type of peas. You can do red beans, lentil peas. You can do pinto beans, black eyed peas, any sort of beans. You have a salad at the side. I like 2 salads. Usually have like a fresh salad and then a macaroni salad or a potato salad. And you either do like stewed chicken. You can do any type of meat with it. You can do fish. You can do chicken, pork, anything. But my diet is limited. So if I make my own Sunday lunch, I would usually just do fish or some sort of seafood, or just leave out meat altogether. But yeah, like anything. Callaloo. Oh, I forgot the callaloo. Callaloo. Yeah. Can't make Sunday lunch without callaloo.
Right. Okay. So where would you go in Trinidad to get some Sunday lunch type food?
This is a really good one, and I know only the OGs will know this place. There's a place in Port of Spain on the corner of Park and St. Vincent Street. Well, it's next to the place that's on the corner of Park and St. Vincent Street. It's called Mano's.
Mano's.
M-A-N-O, like hand in Spanish, like mano.
Right. Okay.
Mano's. So that restaurant has been there for as long as I could remember. I wouldn't doubt that he's definitely been there for like 15 years or something like that. He's been there for a very long time. And if it's one thing, Mano, the actual owner of the restaurant himself, is always there. He's always there, and he always I like to tell him he's for the people. Every time I go there and I buy food, I'm like, Mano, you're for the people, because he has this thing where he says he grew up, poor and needing, in need of a lot of things. So he tries his best to make sure that food is one thing. Anybody who comes around him, you're never gonna, have to need or want for that. So he, it's nothing. Like, if you want some extra rice, some extra anything, he's like, you know what, take it, go ahead, and his food is the best. Anyone who works in uptown Port of Spain definitely knows about Mano's. Definitely. Yeah. So Mano's, and they have such a wide variety of food, not just Sunday lunch, but he does everything from Sunday lunch to bacon shack to pilori, everything. You can get curry, you can get soup, all the traditionally local foods, Mano's have it. Okay. Definitely.
Do you know if they'd be on social media?
That is a really good question, because it's such I don't mean old as in old, but it's been there for such a long time. It's
before social media, basically. Yeah.
So I don't even know, they don't even need social media, right. So I honestly don't know, but it would be so great if they are. I can definitely find out, and I'll share that. I'll share that to you, and you could forward it. Yeah.
Right. So do you like other Caribbean foods? Like, where would you go to get a doubles from, or a roti?
Ooh, sauce. Everybody like sauce, right? But my favorite doubles is definitely from Rufina's. Rufina's is more like a place that's in the east. So if you're from Arima, if you're from Grande, if you're from Valencia, you know about Rufina's doubles. That, honestly, I'm sorry for all the sauce lovers, but Rufina's is the best. Yeah. And for roti, Holmes Restaurant. Okay. You know Holmes, right?
Holmes has been featured on the show. Yeah, that's
Wow. Well, look at that.
Yeah, so it's good if someone's already recommended it.
Yeah.
And I believe they got about 3 branches. Yeah.
Yeah, they have 2 in Arima. They have, and I have no idea where the other one is. The other one is in Grande. Yeah. Right, look at that. Well, yeah, Holmes. It's an East people thing. But now Holmes is Holmes is my place. The flavor in that sauce, in their curry sauce, it's ridiculous. I don't even. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. Wow, I think I'm gonna make roti this weekend. Yeah. But yeah, Holmes is definitely it for Roti, Rufina's is it for doubles, and Mano's is it if you're in Port of Spain during like work hours, 8 to 4, definitely hit up Mano's.
So what about Canada? You're over there now. Where would you go and get some Caribbean food over there?
Honestly, it might sound a little weird, but I would not purchase Caribbean food out here because the ingredients are different. For example, fried plantain is my favorite thing. Like my gamer tag is fried plantain. Fried plantain is my favorite thing. So coming out here, like the plantains are different is basically what I'm trying to say. So, you know, back home we are used to like nice, soft, ripe plantains. No matter how ripe the plantains are out here, it's not soft. Like it's just hard and dry. So it's just a completely different experience. And plantain is just one example of that. So the ingredients that we have back home, while it may be the same, it's definitely like it's different. So the taste therefore is different. So that's why I would not buy Caribbean food out here in Canada, but I definitely would make it. Like for example, this past weekend, we made Sunday lunch. Like my auntie she made Sunday lunch, macros, full works, everything I just described, she made it. Callaloo and everything. And we have like sorrel and stuff. So out here they call sorrel hibiscus tea. So they call it hibiscus tea, even though we know hibiscus as something completely different. They call it hibiscus tea, but it's literally sorrel, like red sorrel. So we would prefer to, or I would definitely prefer to buy the ingredients and make my own stuff as opposed to purchasing it, because it's not gonna taste the same. Yeah. So I save myself the heartache. We made doubles as well. We made, like my aunt she makes everything. She made doubles a couple weeks ago. Like anything roti, as I was saying, I think I might try to convince her to make some roti this weekend, So everything, but we make it ourselves, honestly. So I can't say that there's a place that I would go for Caribbean food out here. Sorry, Canada.
Okay. In Trinidad or in Canada, like we'd know of a Jamaican shop over here and over there. We'd know of a Guyanese shop over here and over there. Do you know of any other Caribbean island or country with shops either in Trinidad or Canada?
With like food places?
Yeah, aside from Trinidad, Guyana and Jamaica.
So back home, there's actually this really popular like jerk chicken place called Shakka. Like if you're you don't even have to be from Port of Spain. Like I was from the east and I would go all the way into Port of Spain to buy this jerk chicken when I still like heavily ate meat. It's I have no idea how that man gets the flavor that way. Like he smokes it and then he does whatever he does, but it's fantastic. Shakka. He's located on Independence Square, opposite, like he's right between Church's Chicken and Hosigns, like on Independence Square, on the promenade. Yeah. So there are those little side streets on the promenade. He's in between the one that's on that intersection with Church's Chicken and Hosigns. Yeah. Or if you know where Royal Castle on Independence Square is. But the thing with him is they only come out at night. Like they're not a daytime thing. So as soon as the sun goes down, time to get your jerk chicken.
Okay. But aside from Guyana, aside from Jamaica, do you know of any other Caribbean country or island with Caribbean food places in Trinidad or in Canada?
Honestly,
like
not
Haitian?
in Trinidad. I was just about to say Haitian, ironically. I was just about to say Haitian, but you would get that out here in Canada and like in the US. So when I was in the US a couple weeks ago, I stayed in New Jersey. Right next to the house, there was a Haitian restaurant. So we would be smelling, I think it's jollof rice, like all day, all day. But out here,
did you try any?
No, I didn't try any.
Right, okay.
But you, like it's the same out here. You would find Haitian restaurants. You would find
Cuban?
not even Cuban.
Oh, no, Puerto Rican either, no?
Not even Puerto Rican. Where I am here, you would find those things in Toronto, honestly. Like in the province of Ontario, which is where Toronto is located, there's a large population of Caribbean people. So you could definitely find a ton of Caribbean restaurants, but I am in Atlantic Canada. I am in Nova Scotia. So if I see another person from the Caribbean, I would literally do a backflip. I would be so happy. I would probably want to cry because we are the only persons from Trinidad and Tobago in this entire, or it feels that way at least, in this entire part of the province, as far as I can tell. Like I've never met another person from the Caribbean.
Okay. So imagine like I'm a tourist, and I'm coming to Trinidad. Where would you recommend me to go? Something fun, exciting, adventurous? What would you say to do?
So if you're an outdoorsy person, well, which I am, you definitely know the beaches is like number one. Actually, you said Trinidad and Tobago. So let's jump to Tobago, right? Let's just jump to Tobago. When you get to Trinidad, just immediately take another flight. It's like 20 minutes long. It's fine. 20-minute flight over to Tobago, right? So in Tobago, you would find, I feel like Tobago definitely has a more touristy vibe to it. Like there's more touristy attractions all put into one place. So I would recommend like Storby in Tobago. You can not only go and see the lovely beach and the lovely coral reefs up on that side of the island, but you can also, like on the outside of the beach, there are these booths that have all the local delicacies. Like you can get your Bennett ball, your red mango, your tambran ball, all that kind of stuff. And then they also have like jet skis and stuff that you can rent on the beach. You could rent the paddle boards, stuff like that. You can rent, well, I'm not sure how surfing is this time of year, but there are certain beaches that you can surf on, stuff like that. So if you're looking for like those kind of outdoorsy activities, that includes the beach, sun, sand, not much surf, definitely Tobago. Trinidad is more like, if you're interested in a nightlife, like if you're more of a nightlife person, like you want to go clubbing, you want to go partying, you want to see what there is in the night, I would definitely recommend the Avenue. The Avenue is like this 5-kilometer long road that is just like bars and clubs and oh my gosh, it's just a lot of them. So you can do that, and you would find a wide array of not only Caribbean food, but you'll find Spanish food, Arabic food, Chinese food, all those different cuisines on the Avenue as well. And if you're a foodie person, you know the Savannah, the Queen's Park Savannah, at night on the side that's close to Napa, the National Academy for Performing Arts. That side, there's like an entire car park that's just food places. Just food places. So you should definitely check that out because you're gonna find everything from doubles to soup to full meals to hot wings with a Caribbean twist. There's even a Jamaican booth there. And the first time I ever had festivals, which is a Jamaican, it's like, you know festivals. Yeah, it's like this sweet, crunchy, oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. First time I had festivals was there by the Savannah at that Jamaican stall. So yeah. Yep.
Excellent, excellent. So I want to ask you, what is your favorite film?
My favorite film? It's probably gonna sound really funny, but Kill Bill by Quentin Tarantino.
All right, cool.
I don't know if you remember that one, but you probably definitely know who Quentin Tarantino is.
Yeah. No, I remember the film.
Yeah, Uma Thurman, she was fantastic. Just yesterday, I'm in the bathroom, like, wiggle your big toe. Wiggle your big. But that is hands down my favorite film. Hands down.
Favorite book?
Oh, that's a good one. Lucky Star by Kathy Cassidy. And it's like a teenager's book, but the story in the book was just, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. It's probably not known, but as I said, it's one book that I read. I read that book when I was like 14 years old, and I never forgot the title. I never forgot the story. I never forgot the author's name, her name. Everything I remembered. Yeah.
And favorite food show?
Well, English TV. This one definitely.
Apart from this one.
Oh, that's a good question. I honestly don't get up to watching much food shows, if I'm being honest. Yeah. What? I just watch Gordon Ramsay sometimes when I feel like.
Yeah. You know what my favorite food show is?
What?
Hell's Kitchen. Right?
That's Gordon Ramsay, right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Listen,
there we go.
The way he talks to those chefs, I'd be like, you can't talk to me like that, brother. Yeah. But the thing is, the prize at the end of that rainbow is spectacular.
Yep.
So if you're willing to learn and put yourself through that, wow. Well,
when you're done, you're walking out. I think they give you like a job at like a 5-star Michelin restaurant or something. You're good. You're good. You get set up pretty good.
You're set in something that you love doing.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. So when it comes to pepper, are you none, slight, medium, or pepper?
Slight, please. And when I say slight, I mean like just this much, just this much, please, thank you. Because I'm like, surprisingly, I'm not a big pepper person at all. I'm not a big pepper person, so even on my doubles, I'm like, real slight, please. Not even just slight, like real slight. Because if you tell them slight, that's like an entire spoon of pepper. Nah, you have to say real slight for them to just put an oomph. Yeah. Okay. I like pepper for the flavor, not for the burn. That's how I like to describe it. Yeah.
And I had to cut that out personally because, like, I noticed, like, I would say, when they asked me pepper, I would say, yeah, put. You know, I just wanted to, and I had to cut down on that, you know, because it just mashed up the flavor. Okay, so, let's see, like, Pelau, do you like it dry or sappy?
Oh, that's a good question. Dry, but not like dry where I can literally do this with the rice and it will all fall, but like that perfect in between where it's dry but at the same time you still see a little bit of moisture on the rice, you know? Yeah. But I like, there shouldn't be liquid in the spoon when you scoop the rice. No, I can't do that.
Right, okay. Going back to pepper, fridge or the cupboard? Where would you keep it, in the fridge or the cupboard?
Ooh, in the fridge. Because once it's open, you have to keep it in the fridge. If it's fresh pepper sauce with no preservatives added, it's my recommendation to keep it in the fridge because you know those ingredients are all natural, so they will sour. Like it will get sour after like a couple of weeks. If you keep it in the fridge, you prevent that. But if it's store-bought pepper sauce that has all the lovely preservatives in them, and I say lovely very sarcastically, that has all the lovely preservatives in them, you know that you can just leave it out on the counter like you can with ketchup. So yeah.
Okay. So favorite drink?
Oh, Caribbean.
Oh, anything.
Sorrel, hands down. Sorrel or Moby. I know that might sound weird, but Sorrel or Moby, definitely.
Yeah, I noticed with Moby, like some of it that I was getting over here just seemed to be too sweet. I remember when I was a kid, it used to be really bitter.
Bitter, right?
Yeah. But I got one the other day. It was nice and bitter. Yeah.
There's a difference between Moby bark and like the store-bought Moby in the bottle that like Mabel's or Matuks does. Right. So those come pre-sweetened. Like those store-bought ones.
It's like sugar.
What? Sorry?
And I'm saying it's just like sugar water.
Yeah, basically. Like once you add water, like all you have to do is add water and that's it. You don't need to add anything else. And then some of them come with, you know, like cola nuts that you grate. It's like nutmeg.
Right.
Some of them come with cola already infused in the mobi. So into the mobi concentrate. So you just have to pour it in a cup, pour some water in it, and that's it. So that would always be sweeter than like mobi bark. So I wouldn't doubt if the one you tried the other day was made from actual mobi bark, because that one has to be sweetened. Oh my gosh. That one, if you don't sweeten it, you're gonna have that.
Yeah.
But
okay,
yeah.
and favorite alcoholic drink?
Ooh, I'm really not big on alcohol, but since I've gotten to Canada, Canada is big on apples, right? They have a bunch of apple, what do you call that? It's not a vineyard, it's an orchard, right?
Right, okay.
Anyways, whatever you call it, a huge field of apples. They have a lot of those here in Nova Scotia. So apples is also what they use to make something called cider. Well, apple cider, right? It's basically alcoholic apple juice with a little bit. It's like slightly carbonated alcoholic apple juice. Right. Listen. That has me in a chokehold. That has me in a every other day. I'm like, can you guys take me to the liquor store? I need to get a cider. Like, I need to get a, because it tastes so. Imagine apple J with alcohol. You've had an apple J before, right?
Yeah.
Right. Imagine alcoholic apple J where it does not even taste like alcohol. So you're just drinking away. You're just like, oh, drink. And then by the time you get to like the end of your cup, you're like, wait a minute. Am I swaying or is the room swaying?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've had it on tap. I've had it on tap before.
Yeah. So they have it on tap, or they have it where they give you it in the bottle and they give you a glass and you pour it yourself. But cider is apple cider is hands down like my favorite alcoholic drink. Even though I'm fairly new to having it, every time I go out now here in Canada, that's all I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite fruit?
Favorite fruit, pomerac, without a doubt. Pomerac.
Yeah. Pomerac's a big winner on this show, actually. A lot of people vote for that.
No, yeah, like pomerac. Pomerac is number, like, I didn't even have to think. Pomerac. Right. Nothing beats pomerac. When it's pomerac season, my heart literally just grows into this big pomerac. And back home, my neighbors on either side have pomerac trees. So my neighbor on the left has a pomerac tree, and it's a different strain of pomerac than my neighbor on the right. So listen, and the good thing about pomerac is the different strains of pomerac come into season different times of the year. So one pomerac comes in at around like February, March, and then another type comes in later down in the year. So it's like twice for the year you're just enjoying the best fruit on earth. But yeah, it's hands down pomerac.
And favorite vegetable?
Oh, that is a good one. I might have to think for a second on that one. I don't think corn, I guess corn is a vegetable, right? Corn.
Right.
Definitely corn. Yeah.
Pineapple on pizza?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Might start a couple wars with that one, but yep, it belongs. It adds that perfect element of sweetness.
Is that a big thing in Canada?
It was a big thing all over the world. But you have to ask for it. So like if you order, I would usually order like a veggie pizza because I don't do like processed meats. So no beef, no pepperoni, nothing like that. So I usually order a veggie pizza, and you have to ask, like you have to say pineapples, please, or else they don't, because it's not a common thing here. So I guess that's why that was such a big deal when some people were saying like pineapples and other people were like, wait, no. But I love it.
What would you say is the national dish of Trinidad and Tobago?
Pelau. Pelau.
Okay.
Definitely Pelau. People may beg to differ and say doubles, but I feel like doubles is more of like a delicacy, not like a dish. But if it's one thing that everybody in every household, regardless of race, religion, like, you know, ethnic background knows how to make, it's Pelau. You could be black, white, Indian, Chinese, whatever. You know how to make Pelau once you're Trinbagonian. It's just, that's just the way it is.
So, say if you won the lotto, the condition being you could pick, apart from Trinidad and Tobago, you can pick any other Caribbean country to visit. Which one would you choose?
I would choose the Dominican Republic because I speak Spanish as well. And the Dominican Republic just has like they have a very rich culture. It's really weird because, you know, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, it's one island, but they're just separated by this invisible line here and on the map. So it's just like this one. Well, the name of the entire mass of land is called San Domingue. So Hispaniola, my bad. It was originally called Hispaniola, and then they changed it, and then they separated it. So the name of the entire thing is called Hispaniola. So like, just the entire concept of that, the fact that they are one people, but they're separated by this like line here and on the map, and they even speak two different languages because, you know, in Haiti they do French Creole, but in the Dominican Republic they do Spanish and, well, English. So yeah, I would hands down go to the Dominican Republic.
Lovely, lovely. When it comes to pets, are you licky face or no licky face?
No licky face. Because, okay, so have you ever observed a dog? They lick everything. They lick everything. They lick themselves after they go in the backyard. So no licky face, no licky face. We actually have a dog and a cat in the house. Actually, well, the cat usually sleeps in my bed, but he left to go do whatever. But I would have showed you, like, no licky face. Anything else but no licky face, please.
Yeah, I hear you, and it's mostly for that reason, you know.
Yeah, because I've seen it with my own eyes. Like, dogs will sniff every single spot that another dog has like been in, urinated in, whatever. Like, dogs eat the weirdest things. The cat eats, like, the cat would go bite off rats' heads and leave headless rats in the tent out back. So why would I let him lick my face? No, no thank you. So yeah, like, no licky face.
I hear you. I hear you. So I think it's high time we start talking about what you do and BUDWISETT. You know. So yeah. But before we get into that, I think we should get into questions from the block.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I'm ready for it.
So let's go with why is it sometimes the quality of weed from the block is great and other times it's crap? What happened there?
So I would firstly begin by saying most likely the type of cannabis that you're getting on the block is what we in Trinidad call Kush. It's not Kush in any way, but we also have another name for it called Colo, which is short for Colombian, which is where most of it comes from, Colombia, right? That is almost the lowest quality of cannabis that you're going to find in the entire country, in the entire Caribbean, by extension, in the entire world. So
Kush is the lowest.
Sorry?
Kush is the lowest. Oh.
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess you can't say certain variations of local is worse, but Kush is like we call it Kush, but it's not actual Kush. So that's why I would refer to it as Colo from now on. Right. So Colo, 100%, in my opinion, is the lowest quality that you would get. Because when you come to other places, you're not going to see anything that looks like that at all. But back to the question. So because you're already dealing with essentially one of the lowest qualities of bud that's circulating in general, you're going to get discrepancies. You're going to get, and then sometimes it's fresher than others. So what I mean by the freshness is, right? Oh, and then cannabis is so versatile. I love this question. So I can get like a brick, like a block of Colo, and I open it today. Well, you know oxidation, right? You're familiar with oxidation.
Right.
Great. So I can open that block today, and it's going to be green. It's going to be like, oh, fluffy, nice, green. And then over the course of a couple days, because that block has been packaged for so long, months, almost an entire year, as it waited to come over the sea, it starts to oxidize very quickly. So it starts getting brown. So you can get the same exact packet of weed oxidized and turned into a much worse quality later on in the week, or maybe 2 weeks later, or maybe 3 weeks later. A lot of times it's the same weed, the same bud. It's just degraded because it degrades very quickly because it's already a very low quality of bud. It's not even dried. Like a lot of times it's not even dried because the way it's produced, it's a very fast-paced production that they're doing over there in South America. So they just cut it down, pack it up, wrap it up, send it across the sea. And that's what we getting. So I hope that at least helps. Yeah. You're already dealing with the lowest quality, and then it oxidizes very quickly. So, yeah.
Yeah, and as you say, the length of time, you don't know how long it's been packaged for, sitting there. Interesting. Yep. Very interesting.
But it's definitely not fresh. It's very rare that you will find like some really nice, fresh green color. And then because it's so rare, you're going to have to pay, almost twice times the amount of the regular brown, poor quality stuff.
Okay, so second question is, what happened to Vinci? Before we could get Vinci, now it's just Kush and grade, no Vinci.
I love these questions. Tell the block that I said thank you.
Okay.
So Vinci is basically from St. Vincent, right? Vinci basically came from St. Vincent. So I don't know if you've ever, partaken in it, especially during the time when Vinci was around. But Vinci used to come from St. Vincent. That's why we called it Vinci. And then jam came from Jamaica. So back then, before the Colombians basically took over, before who does business with them with the Latin Americans to bring in the colo, before they dominated the market with their extremely cheap prices and their way higher quantities, way higher turnovers, that's basically what it was. So you could get because the quality, to be fair, the quality of Vinci and jam was even, or at least the ones that they were shipping over to Trinidad and Tobago, was even poorer quality than colo when colo had just hit the market. So that's another thing too. So back in 2016, 17, maybe even 2015 to 2017, that's when colo had just started to become really popular in the market. You were getting the good stuff, the best stuff, nice, green, fluffy, fresh, very cheap as well, a lot of quantity as well. So that basically just obliterated Vinci and jam from the market.
Supply and demand.
Nobody wants Vinci and jam. If you come and tell me you have Vinci or jam, I'm gonna be like, people turn up their noses to it because they know the quality of that. Even though the quality of the colo that we get now is bad, Vinci and jam is most likely gonna be worse. So that's why.
Wow, it's amazing questions and amazing answers.
Yeah, long story short, the Spanish was giving them a better deal.
I hear that.
Yep, and the Spanish still giving them a better deal, and that's why colo will, even though they're moving to legalize cannabis in Trinidad and Tobago, colo will stay king. My friends and I call it King Colo. Or King Kush, but King Kush is an actual strain, so that I don't like to, get the terms mixed up, but we call it King Colo because it has the entire cannabis market in Trinidad and Tobago in a chokehold. You cannot get away from it.
Okay. So next and final question. With legalization, would Kush be eventually sold in shops?
I do not believe so, because with legalization, they are moving to legalize medicinal cannabis. And once again, this is a fantastic question because it's giving me the opportunity to touch on what I'm about to touch on, right? So with legalization, right now, Trinidad and Tobago is moving to legalize medicinal cannabis, not just recreational cannabis. So therefore, the cannabis that is being grown legally, produced legally, sold in shops legally, will have to fall under that blanket of medicinal cannabis, even though all cannabis is medicinal. But anyways, just for the terms that they're speaking of and the terms that they're using. So because of that, Colo, as an import that cannot, well, it can be tested, but once it is tested, you would find all the mold, all the pesticides, all the bud rot, all these different reasons as to why there is no way that it can be legally considered medicinal cannabis. So no, Colo, based on what the government is doing, Colo is not going to be available for sale in stores, because Colo is not medicinal cannabis, If you as a person, if you want to get into the legal cannabis industry in Trinidad and Tobago, you are going to have to be growing medicinal cannabis. You're going to have to be selling medicinal cannabis. All of it is gonna have to fall under this blanket of medicinal cannabis. So yeah.
Okay, well, those were our 3 questions from the blog. As I say, interesting questions. I love it.
Oh my gosh, wow, that's fantastic. You just gave me a really good idea, because I would love to hear more questions from people on the street, people on the block, people who deal with this thing every single day. It's great.
I'll make sure that I show them this clip for sure.
Please do.
Yeah.
Hi block, I've supported you a lot. And listen, it's a running gag on my blog that I say I'm gonna support the block. Even if I have my nice high quality stuff, I would still go and be like, yeah, give me a 20. Let me just see what y'all have, Let me support you.
Okay.
And I would like to touch on that as well. Ooh, I should have had to write that down. But I would love to touch, I have a whiteboard right here. I would like to touch on that as well. The fact that the block, as we like to call it, or the black market, right, will always be. So I wrote it down there, so later on I would love to touch on it. The fact that no matter how legal cannabis is, for example, I'll even give you an example when the time comes of here in Canada, cannabis is extremely legal here in Canada, to the point where no one cares. The government sells cannabis. I purchased a gram from the government.
That's medicinal or recreational?
Recreational. The government is selling recreational cannabis as well as medicinal. However, still the black market, or as it's being known, there's a politically correct term for it now called the legacy market, right? So they're no longer calling it the black market. So the legacy market is still, I buy my weed from the legacy market. I do not buy my weed from the government, because I'm not going to buy my weed from the people who had people being arrested for weed for the last how much ever years, But I just bought the gram to see what the experience was like, But yeah, the legacy market will always remain on top, no matter how legal it is, no matter where. So I would love to touch on that, a little later on in the conversation. Yeah.
Sure, but this is your section of the show now. So we're talking about you and your company.
Right.
So tell us more, please, because it's so interesting.
Right. So thank you very much. So basically what the entire premise of BUDWISETT is, I started it off basically educating and informing. So it's basically this hub where you can come and get education and information and a connection to all things cannabis in Trinidad and Tobago. So if you need to know anything from growing all the way up to smoking, to eating, to drinking, to vaping, I can either help you find out more about it, I can educate you on it, I can maybe help you find it, all of that stuff. So from that, obviously, if you're teaching people about something, you have to know a lot about it. So I made it my duty to educate myself very thoroughly on many different topics within cannabis, including growing concentrates, extracts. I even got certified in solvent/hash extraction, all that kind of stuff. So that's basically what I do on my blog. I've helped a lot of people. And earlier on at the start of the conversation, when I was saying that I've done a lot of community building, so I've definitely done that as well. When it comes to like the online cannabis community in Trinidad and Tobago, I definitely worked so hard to like bring people together, to let people know, hey, like this is a thing. Sorry. Hey, this is a thing that we use, and it's not all bad. And if you use it as well, you can come out here and show people your plans, like show people what you think, show people what you like, So from just me being bold enough to proclaim my love and appreciation for cannabis, I have inspired a lot of other people to do the same, I know you had Outside Trichomes on your show, Chris, from Outside Trichomes before. Funny story about that. So my old Facebook profile, Chris actually messaged my old Facebook profile all the way back in like 2018 or 2019, I believe. And he wanted to know, like, how can I get more involved in this? Like, I see what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And I love this thing, and I want to just get involved. And I didn't see the message. Months passed and I did not see that message. And then he started Outside Trichomes, and I got to know him through Outside Trichomes. And then I saw that message. So I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, what I'm doing here is really having an impact, isn't it? A lot of the people who have pages now, they would come on my lives, like on my Wake and Bakes, which is something that I started in quarantine, because people were at home. I was at home every single day, So I started just getting on live, showing my face, rolling up some joints, smoking it with the people, talking. And it's from there, I definitely, I did a lot of community building, talking about topics, like getting people more confident in showing that they use this thing. And it's, as I said earlier, it's not a bad thing, because it definitely helped me a lot. And I know that it helped a lot of people too, So that's that. I've done a lot of like going to events. I've done a lot of sponsoring events, promoting brands, that kind of stuff. I've started a lot of conversations that have pissed a lot of people off when it comes to, what's healthy and what's not healthy, when it comes to you eating cannabis, when it comes to you consuming cannabis in a way that's not just, rolling it up, lighting it, and smoking it, I started a huge conversation on edibles, because as we were talking about Colo earlier, I help to educate a lot of people on the fact that you should not be using Colo in edibles, because when you eat cannabis, your body breaks it down in a completely different way than when you smoke it. It interacts with your body differently, So when you eat it, it passes through your liver, and then the THC is converted to, I really don't want to say this incorrectly, but when it goes through your liver, the THC is converted to like THCA, so it interacts with your body differently, and that's how you feel the effects of cannabis. So when you think about that, when you think about the fact that your body has to break it down in order for it to then start affecting you, you really have to also think about what you're putting into the edible. So that was one thing, like,
when you said earlier, that's the lowest form of what we can get.
Exactly, right? So I started a whole thing about Colo cakes. That's what we used to call it, like people making brownies and stuff and cookies and stuff out of Colo. So we started calling it Colo cakes. And I started educating people on the fact that you should not be putting this into your body, because the way it makes you feel, in the long term, there are very harmful effects, you know. So yeah, that's just one of the many conversations. I've started conversations on branding as well, like the fact that, I mean, okay, yes, you know, you're just like a, like basically take pride in what you do, you know. If you're serious about wanting to come into the cannabis industry as a cannabis chef or someone who's just making edibles or anything like that, have pride in what you do, you know. Don't give me a $40 brownie wrapped up in foil. That's crazy, you know. Don't do that to me, you know. So I've started a lot of conversations on proper packaging standards, like quality control, that kind of stuff, just from educating people. So that's my thing. I just love educating people and disseminating information. You know, BUDWISETT is the place that you can come to when you want to find out the latest on cannabis law in Trinidad and Tobago, when you want to get any updates on what's going on, when you want to get clarity on what's going on with the law and all these types of things. As I'm saying that, on 420 this year was when they had the actual parliament discussion for the legalization of cannabis. They made the banner green. They were toying with us. The banner is usually red for the Parliament channel. They made it green and everything. What I did on that day, I just went live, and I was basically live streaming their live stream of that Parliament sitting. So I do stuff like that, you know. I would sit through these hours long seminars and just like compile a summary of whatever happened, or I would come on and talk about it. And so that's it. That's me.
Right. Okay. I want to bring back to what you were talking about earlier, regarding medical and recreational.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between the two? If someone was to smoke medical cannabis, what's going to happen to them? Nothing?
You see, so that's the thing. Medicinal cannabis is more of like a corporate term, or more like a 21st century term, because as I said earlier, all cannabis can be medicinal. I can grow a plant in my backyard and that can be medicinal to me because it helps me to be less anxious when the day comes. It helps me to fall asleep, you know, when the night comes. So yeah, but in layman's terms, medicinal cannabis is basically cannabis that's grown with a lot of restrictions so that it can be as safe as possible, and it's used basically medicinally. So let's say I suffer with headaches, I go to a doctor, or I go not even to a doctor, I go into the medicinal dispensary, because they are usually doctors. That's usually a requirement, that they have to have a doctor or a pharmacist or something on site, someone who can actually prescribe it for you. It's very easy. And yeah, so I tell them I have backaches, I have headaches, I have whatever, and then they give me this bud that's grown on, like, with these specific instructions. So like no pesticides, no harmful chemicals, all this different kind of stuff that can basically be medical grade, you know, not containing any harmful pesticides or fertilizers or anything like that. Medicinal cannabis is also usually restricted when it comes to the potency. So you're not going to get medicinal cannabis. You're not typically going to get medicinal cannabis that's 26% THC, you know. It's usually a lower THC count. So you're going to get like 15% THC, 10% THC. You might get 18% THC, but they usually have a lot of limitations on what can be considered medicinal cannabis because of that.
Okay.
It's like they're treating it like a pharmaceutical drug, essentially. Yeah.
Okay.
And recreational cannabis. Sorry?
No, so I was going to say, the taste between the two would be different then.
No, honestly.
Okay.
It's like CBD. It's like CBD. Like, I can smoke CBD. It's the same compounds, the same terpenes, which is like the flavor compounds, right? Same makeup. It's basically just like one difference in the molecular structure that makes CBD CBD and THC THC. So it's the same with hemp. Like if I roll up hemp and I light hemp and I smoke hemp, it's going to smell amazing. It's going to taste amazing. But the main difference is the chemical composition, which affects you differently when it comes to psychologically. So CBD is weed. It's the same exact cannabis, but it's just not going to get you high because it's missing that compound. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I don't know whether you remember, like, we had a discussion, I think it was last year, about the madness going on in shops with rolling papers. Like, so, a shop owner in Kenya had pointed out to me that they could basically get raided by the customs and excise and have their rolling paper just taken away with no explanation.
Yep.
So the shop owner asked me to do a bit of research, and I found out that it was actually it was lawful for them to come and do that, for the customs and excise to come and do it. Just come and take. They're not going to take anything else.
Yep.
They're going to take their rolling papers, all of them, and do what with them? That was my question. Do what with them, and what is that purpose for?
What do you think?
It's madness. But that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Exactly. You've just decriminalized cannabis, but you still have this archaic
ban
law, convenient law,
yep,
to probably help out certain people. Ridiculous.
But see, the loophole that they use is they say that, because on the papers, they have for tobacco use only. On a lot of the papers, they have on a lot of the papers, they have for tobacco use only. So they now would try to say, like, so if I'm the shop owner and I'm saying this is not for weed, this has nothing to do with weed, this has nothing to do with cannabis, this is for tobacco use only, as it says on the paper. They now counter that and say, exactly, you're selling a product that promotes the use of tobacco. So now we have to confiscate it.
But you're selling tobacco. You're not confiscating the tobacco.
Exactly, right? So yeah. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Until they find a way for the people who are already very rich off of all of the other monopolies that exist in Trinidad and Tobago to also, sorry, one sec. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so until they find a way to essentially monopolize that as well, like the entire paper ordeal, to make sure that it's only one or two companies importing all of the paper and then selling it to smaller shops, I don't think that problem is going to resolve itself, or they are even going to resolve the problem. It's crazy. That's that's how it is.
Yeah, I don't know what this country. I don't know what this country has against fair trade. I mean, I saw it happen with cement, and I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. We had Rock Hard Cement just basically put an official statement on their website saying that it's ridiculous dealing with trying to deal in Trinidad and Tobago, because every time we try to accommodate with a new law is put up to try and hinder us. So yeah, it's so sad. But can I ask you, farmers in Trinidad and Tobago, with this new decriminalization and going forward with possible legalization of the medicinal grade cannabis, how is that going to benefit our farmers, and how can our farmers get involved?
Honestly, I feel as though unless they treat with cannabis as an agricultural plant, it's kind of redundant, but you know what I mean? Unless they treat with cannabis as an agricultural substance and not a pharmaceutical substance, the farmers are not gonna benefit, if you understand what I mean. They're gonna get the crappy end of the stick. They're gonna, because you see it happening in so many other places, right? So, in my opinion, the only way that I see the farmers being able to benefit from this is if they're able to grow, like for these dispensaries, like but the thing is, what did I say? They're gonna have to grow medicinal cannabis. So when they're growing their cannabis, it's gonna come with a lot of restrictions, because they grew in medicinal cannabis. They might even have to get their seeds from one specific person. So, as I keep saying, until the government and the wealthy business owners, the oligarchs, find a way to monopolize the legalization of cannabis, which they're currently doing right now, finding a way to monopolize it, it's just going to be stagnant. No one is going to be able to benefit in a great way, if you understand.
Right.
Until they finish hashing out how everyone will have to buy seeds, weed, plant stuff, everything from them, and then do whatever else, I honestly don't see it. I'm just speaking based on seeing that that's how everything in the country goes, if you understand what I mean,
Yeah.
So why are we telling ourselves that cannabis is going to be any different, I'm just trying to approach it from a realistic standpoint. Yeah.
A beacon of fair trade, eh?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So
I honestly, it's a very sad thing to say, but I can't even say, how right now, how I could see the farmers benefiting from that situation. Because as I said, even if they do contracts and they say, well, okay, farmers, we're going to open up these government-owned dispensaries now that we're doing medicinal cannabis, and we want our local farmers to grow for us, right? Where the seeds them coming from, they're definitely not going to use Trinidad and Tobago seeds, because we don't have stable, like there has not been enough research and stabilization done on our local cannabis strains, like our local cannabis weed. What? Sorry.
And we've got one of the best horticultural centers in the world here, And the fact that we don't even study something that is now making money like practically everywhere else around the world now.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
They only recently put up an official cannabis tree on UE campus in St. Augustine. Like the agricultural department put a cannabis plant now that it's been approved to be legalized. So they only now have started to even research it, and they're gonna legalize it. It's very backwards. Because you would like to believe that they would have started researching it, like they would have done all of that. They would have taken all of these steps within those 2 years. Like the 2 years, which is the bridge from decriminalization to legalization. That bridge, 2019, 2020, 2021, is where they were supposed to do all that research, is where they were supposed to plant that tree in UE, is where they were supposed to do all of that. And then say, well, okay, we're legalizing it now because we figured it out, but nope. They're legalizing it and figuring it out at the same time. Typical Trinbagonian fashion.
But in fairness, we've also got history against us, because when America and Europe made it illegal back in the 30s or something, it basically clamped down on any chance of us having to build an industry from back then. And imagine if we did, or we were allowed to grow cannabis normally, from back then, we would have had a thriving industry now.
Yep. We signed a bunch of treaties that said that we are not allowed to do that. Look, it's as serious as even the banks, right? They couldn't legalize cannabis here before they got the okay from the bigger countries. And that is basically what it is. Because, all right, let's say we said, okay, cannabis is legal in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And I want to start up a cannabis business, and I go to Scotiabank, right? Or no, I'll do a local bank. I go to First Citizens Bank, right? And I get a loan from First Citizens to start up my cannabis business. First Citizens Bank can get in a heap of trouble from the US and whatever other country that Trinidad and Tobago would have signed treaties and agreements with, because they are providing loans to build a company, or providing loans to go towards a substance that is regulated in the US. So you understand that? Like, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. So let's say this substance is regulated in the US. So you, all the way in Trinidad and Tobago, you cannot legalize it and have your banks doing business with people who do this, because it goes against our, like, when you think about it, it angers you. Like, it greatly angers you. It's crazy. So it was a lot more than just they don't want to legalize weed, they don't want to legalize cannabis. It was a lot more than that.
They've also demonized it as well, because a lot of the older generation, they really do think, you know, if you smoke that or take that, there's something mentally wrong with you, you know.
Yeah.
And they've done an excellent marketing campaign at demonizing cannabis.
Yep.
You know? And probably because of, like, if they didn't, it would have had a serious effect on the alcohol industry.
Definitely. That's 100% true. And then also we have to recognize that hemp
and medicine.
Yep. Not only just that, but the cotton industry as well, because hemp is a even better substitute for cotton to make fabrics, to make so many different things. You can make fuel, fibers, food. Oh my gosh, you can make so many things from hemp. So that within itself, when they started realizing that the hemp industry was booming in the 20s and the 30s, and they realized the cotton industry was being threatened, basically. And you know, you can grow hemp, like hemp itself, very quickly, like within 3 months, like within, So,
Given by God and taken away by man, eh?
Yep. I love that. Yep. Given by God, taken away by man. Absolutely true. So yeah, it's a very nuanced situation as to why cannabis is now being legalized in Trinidad and Tobago, and because of the levels of bubble, I don't want to use the C word, right? But because of the levels of bubble that goes on in like every single industry in the country, like I can already see where this is going. I will be very surprised if it goes a different direction. Yeah.
So do you think there's any hope for recreational cannabis, say, in the next 5 years or 10 years?
Eventually, they will legalize recreational cannabis, but legalizing medicinal cannabis is how they make sure that the people who have money get a head start. Because to go into the medicinal cannabis industry, it costs. Because to be able to abide by all of these regulations, it costs. It costs.
Yeah.
Just the licenses, like when you look at the explanatory note for the Dangerous Drugs Act amendment, right? When you look at the explanatory note that they gave us last year, that they legalizing cannabis based on now, the money that they expect you to have to be able to purchase a license, you already have to have money. And you can't even say, let me go to the bank and get a loan to buy this cannabis license, because will the bank even do business with cannabis business owners? Will the bank even give you a business, like a startup loan to start up a cannabis business? These are the questions that people are not even asking. These are the questions that people are not even asking. So I can be all hot and sweaty. Yeah, like I'm ready. I have a business plan. I have a $10,000 installment to put on my loan, because you know you have to come with like a down payment thingy, you know. I have all of this, and when you go to the bank, they're letting you know, well, no, we have not been cleared to provide banking services or even loans or anything like that, securities to anyone running a business with a regulated substance, with such a heavily regulated substance. So these are all things that people don't even think about. So now you have to find, where am I getting $100,000? Oh my God, I just spent like the last year saving up 10. So you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna continue to just grow your weed and sell your weed. Because, right? So that is why the black market will always prevail. Will always prevail. So, yeah.
So how can the people get in touch with Budwise, like on social media?
So right now, I actually just purchased my domain a couple weeks ago. I'm not done building the website yet. So for now, I can be reached on Instagram at BUDWISETT. I had a Facebook page, but I deleted it because it was very poorly managed. So I might get back into that again on Facebook. But for now, it's Instagram, and I'm looking to have the website launched by the end of this month. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not on Facebook?
No, not anymore.
Right.
Not anymore.
Okay. But Instagram, so I'm going to subscribe to your Instagram later for sure.
Awesome. Yep.
All right. Have you got any sponsors or supporters or other activists that you want to give a shout out to?
I don't actually have, Budweiser has been all me since inception, so I don't have any sponsors, I don't have anything. I've gotten a couple brand deals along the way, but besides that, I don't have any sponsors. But definitely, I want to shout out people like, oh, jeez. So, you know, when you start shouting out people and you don't shout out everyone, like, some people are like, but where's my shout out? So guys, please excuse me, just please excuse me. I want to shout out everyone, but I just want to give some special mentions to other activists, you know, like Steakum, it's a plant. She's from down on the south side of the more southern side of the island. She more speaks for, you know, Rastafarians and like Rastafarians' rights to use cannabis, and Rastafarians not wanting to be told that they have to abide by these restrictions to use something that is of sacramental rights to them, you know. So that's what I really, you know, love what Steakum, it's a plant, what she does. Someone else I want to mention as well, we all know Nazma Mullah. Very, very outspoken. Very outspoken.
She's the one who gave the plant to the AG, eh?
Yes. Very, very outspoken. But at the end of the day, while you may not agree with everything Nazma says or does, I would give flowers where flowers are due. She gets up and gets out there and stands up for what she believes in. As much as you might have your own personal opinion of whatever, of, you know, the way she does things, I give flowers for where flowers are due, as I said, you know. And actually, as I'm talking about Nazma, something I did something with Nazma, and that was one of my biggest that was one of the biggest pushes for me into like getting into cannabis, like officially. So back in 2018, when she had organized a petition to the Prime Minister with people, so she basically started a petition and she wanted to get a bunch of signatures. She got like almost 20,000 signatures from people supporting the legalization of cannabis. And a bunch of us came together in front of the Parliament building.
Right. Okay.
In Port of Spain on the waterfront, and we presented that petition to Keith Rowley. And it was just after that day, I was like, listen, this thing has impacted me so much in such a positive way. It's literally helped me to change my life, to change the way that I do things. How can I get more involved? That's a question that I started asking myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn a lot more about it. I'm going to teach my friends, my family, and anybody else that I can teach. And that's it. So yeah, I just definitely want to shout out Nazma as well. I was talking about Outside Trichomes earlier. Outside Trichomes is someone that I've seen, he's really passionate about, you know, cannabis and his dealings with cannabis. He's learned a lot along the way. He greatly improved from, you know, where he started essentially and to where he is now. Like, definitely want to shout out Outside Trichomes. Activists. Am I forgetting anyone? I'm probably forgetting some people. I apologize. But there
You
are a
said,
lot
you
of
said
other,
hi to everyone when you
yeah,
started.
there's a lot of other brands and stuff as well. There are countless brands where you can see people actually, you know, supporting and promoting their brand is centered around, you know, something having to do with cannabis, whether it's clothing, whether it's skincare, whether it's edibles, you know. So it's just I'm just super happy and proud of everyone that just came out, you know, with regards to their love for cannabis. That
Yeah.
puffed up,
And that's true as well
basically.
because not a lot of people are actually comfortable
Yeah,
talking about cannabis on camera.
yeah,
So big thanks to you and big thanks to Outside Trichomes as well because like he came on camera on this channel as well
yeah,
and spoke about it. You
yep.
know, so yeah.
I agree. I was a ghost, a faceless profile for the first 2 years of Budweiser. Because I was so scared. It wasn't even decriminalized yet when I had started Budweiser. So I was, yeah, very, very, very cautious. And then after a while, I just realized, you know what? I'm not doing anything wrong. You know, I'm not doing
Yeah.
anything wrong.
Yeah.
So,
But it's
and
been stigmatized so much, as I say, a
exactly.
fantastic marketing campaign that everyone does think they're actually doing something.
Yup,
Well,
yup.
you know. Okay,
Yep.
so I think I might know this from what you said earlier, but what are you looking forward to eating later?
Ooh, if I can convince Auntie to make that roti.
Yeah, of
Well,
course,
I
well,
think it's too late. I
of
think it's
course.
too late. Like, you have to put the idea in their head from the morning. You're like, you know, I could eat a roti today. And then later they will be like, you know, I could eat a roti today too. And I was like, yeah, why not? So I think I'm gonna have to try that tomorrow. But I think I might just go for some sushi tonight.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, Nyasha, I just want to thank you for your time. It was a lovely and interesting conversation. There's probably
Likewise.
tons of things that we actually couldn't chat about or skip, but I just really do want to thank you for your time.
Thank you as well for having me on here. It's a pleasure. It's really good to still be able to partake, even though I'm not physically in Trinidad and Tobago right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully, well, see, the place is open back up now because when we were supposed to do this, the place closed back down. So hopefully, when I'm back in Trinidad, which I, whew, I can't say exactly when. I don't know exactly when, but hopefully, when I'm back, you would have started the in-person stuff again, and we could maybe do a follow-up. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, actually, for the
Hopefully, by
time
the
being,
time I'm in Trinidad, they at least have a dispensary or something. So
yeah, we're actually keeping it to the podcast version at the
oh,
moment. Even
okay,
though
okay,
I used to really love doing the shows where
yeah,
we used to go and visit, but this is so much easier. I can get, and I find the conversation about the food and other topics is so much more in depth with this version of the show,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So yeah, but the only real advantage is when you go there, you look, you smell, you
yep.
taste.
You bite into that, yep, and you get that raw,
Yeah,
uncut first reaction.
that's what I miss. That's what I miss.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I want to wish you the rest of the day. Hope it's wonderful for you and your
Thank you
family.
very much.
Yeah.
Same to
All right.
you. And again, thank you so much for having me on. And everyone, check out English TV. Like, you don't even hesitate. Please, please stop hesitating. Yeah.
Blessings.